is a seat belt. If you can take that seat belt, throw it around your waist. If you're doing this, you're following rule number 1, which is there's no standing allowed on board our vessel. So please make sure you stay seated through the duration of today's travels here. The Aeon Center, like I said, it kind of looks like a giant stick of butter. There's no corner offices in the building. The 4 elevators in the structure are on the 4 corners of the building there, so if you're hoping to get that sweet corner office one day, well, you better find a new building, because it's right over here. The 3rd highest in our skyline, the Aeon Center, just on our left, in front of us, slightly, ever so slightly. But the cool thing about the Aeon Center is when it opened up as a Standard Oil building, it was actually covered in an Italian pink marble. Just flying due north the whole time. Well, very glad. Welcome up from Venezuela. Glad to have you guys here. Over here, California. Very, very nice. Got the California contingent here today. Over here, where are we from? Chicago, Dallas. Very nice. Over here, where are we from? Charlotte, North Carolina. Very, very lovely. Over here. I actually was at the Sarasota site, so I only got up there for 2 football games. So I was at the Oslo Conservatory. But still, very, very cool. I got 2 games during my time there. In the presidential box, no less, so that was pretty cool. President Barron had us up. Very welcome up from Tallahassee. Over here, guys, where we're from, this is the Dallas connection. Where? Italy? Holy cow! He's just like, he said Italy, I said Italia. North side, all the way over to the south side at the top of every hour for 5 minutes. The idea is that it's uniting the north and the south side of our city. The funny thing is it doesn't quite make it to the south side. It peters out several feet before it gets there. So we're almost united in Chicago. Over on the left, we got a building with kind of a light blue glass, alternating with a darker glass. As we come around the front here, you'll notice a point, and you can see the structure is called the Swiss Hotel on this side of the building. It's in the shape of a perfect triangle. The Swiss Hotel gives great views of the river, the lake, and Grant Park behind it. Harry Weiss designed the structure, the man adored triangles. In fact, he liked them so much he designed another triangle building in our city. But if you're going to visit one of his buildings, you want to make it that one. Because the other triangle building, it's the federal penitentiary. Probably not as nice. Over here on the left, back from the river a block, you can see some white wavy balconies over here, blue glass going all the way to the top. That is Aqua. Aqua is that currently tallest building in the world by that female architect, Jeannie Yang. She is a homegrown architect here in Chicago. She's designed several structures in the city and also the surrounding area. Pretty cool to have her here in Chicago. In front of us over on the right, you can see that white clock tower coming into view. That was completed in 1921, the North Tower 1927. This is the Wrigley Building. This might be my favorite structure in the city of Chicago. Revival Renaissance style, very, very iconic Chicago building here. You'll notice the gap between the 2 structures there is because at one point a railroad ran down the heart of that building. It does no longer. There's 13 different shades of white. Look at all the beautiful decoration on the top of the structure. It almost looks like a castle more so than an Art Deco style building. But beautiful, beautiful structure. Wrigley didn't start off with this switch over to the Gum. Was able to afford the Cubbies on the north side. The Cubs winning that first World Series in over 108 years, a couple years ago. Pretty exciting for Chicago. Now this next building behind me, I always struggle with the name. Gosh, what's the name of this building? Hey, wouldn't it be crazy if I turned around and it was written in huge letters on the... Oh my God! It's the Trump International Hotel and Tower. This is the 2nd tallest building in Chicago. What's unique about this structure, you see the setbacks bending out to either side. 4 other buildings in Chicago. AMA Plaza on the right, those black vertical lines going straight up. Another Van der Rohe design. With Van der Rohe, he's kind of like Henry Ford. You can get it any color as long as it's black. Any angle as long as it's a right angle. This whole idea of function over form. Buildings don't need to look beautiful, they need to function really, really well. His student completely rejected those ideas. He built the next two towers on the right next to his teacher. Bertrand Goldberg put up Marina City in the early 1960s. You'll notice those round balconies up there. He thought it looked like rose petals falling down from the sky. We call these structures the corncob towers. They kind of look like giant corn cobs. The city's Marina City is a city within the city. You can see the marina down here, several different restaurants. There's a bowling alley inside there. There was a grocery store when the structure had opened up. Several decks of parking before we even get to those condominiums on top. That was his answer to the suburbs. Everyone was leaving to get that cool new car and plenty of parking. He built the parking right in up there. That parking's all valet. You do not park your own car if you live in that building, probably because there's only two thin cables holding your car in the park. Sears Tower! Now, we spell Sears Tower a little different here in Chicago. We spell it W-I-L-L-I-S. Ask any Chicagoan how that's pronounced, they'll tell you. Sears. The tower was renamed Willis in 2009, but no one here in Chicago calls it that. We still lovingly refer to that as the Sears Tower. I don't know if you noticed there was 4 glass boxes hanging off the sign up there. Those 4 glass boxes are actually a sky deck, a ledge, where you can step out and you can look straight through your feet up there, all the way down. There was a family out on those glass boxes a few years ago. They're looking through their feet, they're having a grand old time, and then the glass cracked. It held. They were okay. They're standing over 1,000 feet in the air though, and what they're standing on cracks below them. It was a little frightening, to say the least. The news swooped in immediately. They're like, we have to do an interview. They're like, okay, we'll do an interview, but first we would like to change our shorts. And I can't say that I blame them. That was the world's tallest building for a quarter century. 1973, all the way until 1998. It's no longer the tallest in the world. It's not even the tallest in North America anymore. We're actually now second behind the Freedom Tower or World Trade Center 1, although it's a little back and forth of why that is, because the antennae on the World Trade Center count. Ours don't. Ours were put up after the building was already constructed, so we cannot count those towards our height total. It's still the tallest in the Midwest and Chicago. Over here on the left though, you're going to see the shorter section of the Boeing building has a trapezoid shape on top of it. That trapezoid shape is that inverted cantilever truss coming out from the tower and holding it up from the top on down. Beautiful piece of engineering. Civic Opera building, I mentioned this going down. You might notice the spelling of building on the side of the structure has a V where a U should be, and that's not because we don't know how to spell. That's because we were using the Latin alphabet trying to be fancy, and we realized there's no U in the Latin alphabet, so we had to throw in the V. Samuel Insull had this building put up as well. Some people claim it's designed to look like a giant throne for the man. You can imagine a giant version of Samuel Insull sitting down in this building, using both the shorter towers as armrests and that tall tower up there in the back as his backrest. That way he could look out to the west at his vast railroad empire. The reason that building is here at all is because Samuel Insull's wife was the opera singer. She went off to New York City, thought she was going to be the next Hamilton on Broadway. They booed her all the way back to Chicago. That was her consolation prize. A huge opera hall in downtown Chicago. Not too shabby. On your right, though, a real treasure. Visiting Chicago, take a walk along Tribune Tower, because there's pieces of wonders from throughout the world. When you went out on assignment, it was your job to chip off part of a wonder, bring it back here to Chicago. Those pieces are now embedded in the side of that building. There's pieces of the pyramids, Taj Mahal, Berlin Wall. There's boom rocks on loan from NASA. You can see them all for free embedded in the side of the building. Pretty cool stuff. NBC Tower over there on the left, Art Deco style building. If it looks familiar, that's because it's a carbon copy of 30 Rockefeller Plaza in New York City. So we got the spare here in Chicago. This next structure coming up on the left is the Sheraton Hotel. Sheraton Hotel is a very safe location, especially up there in the top, the last 3 rows of windows. The glass up there is bulletproof, bomb-proof, shatterproof. There's a helipad on top, several different exits in and out of that building. Controls to all the bridges here in downtown Chicago. It's one of 2 places a president of the United States may stay when they're in town, is over at the Sheraton Hotel. When former President Barack Obama won in 2008, they whisked him away from Grant Park. They took him over to the Sheraton Hotel for safekeeping. So if you're concerned about security, that's where I would send you. On the right, we got good old Wacker Drive over here. We got 3 levels of Wacker Drive. You got upper Wacker on the top there, lower Wacker in the middle, and then lower Wacker closest to us at river level. We named the street that to confuse anyone who's visiting Chicago on which one you're supposed to be on. But the idea was actually thought up by Daniel Burnham way back in 1909. The idea was to try to spread out traffic. Upper Wacker up there is for local traffic only. So if you need to stop every couple of blocks, you're going to be on Upper Wacker. Lower Wacker, that one in the middle, there's only certain on and off points. It's supposed to behave like an expressway. So they can only get on at off in certain places, try to get around the city very, very quickly. Lower Wacker down here with us is for drag racing. Not really. It's meant for shipping and receiving, garbage pickup, things of that nature. But it wouldn't be unheard of to see someone drag racing down there on lower Wacker Drive. So you never know. Over here on our left, you can see this white plywood here in front of us on the left. That white plywood was supposed to be the site of the world's tallest building. The Chicago Spire was going to sit on this site. It was going to look like a drill bit spiraling out of the ground all the way up into the sky. They dug the foundation for the Chicago Spire in 2007. And 2008 rolled around. Who remembers 2008? It was the worst. The project died in 2008. It's been a giant hole ever him. One of his buddies picked up and didn't want to go back to prison. And he gave up his friend Richard Dorsey's cool hideout, or he'd probably still be living there today. Richard Dorsey did go to prison for about 90 days. The police said he was only there for 3 months. I just told you everything he had. The reasons they say 3 months is because someone's supposed to be inspecting all the bridges every 3 months. I don't think all that stuff was sitting in a storage unit. And he's like, don't worry, my lease starts August 1. I'm going to go to my storage unit and move into my cool new hideout. No, I think it took time to gather those items, but